for several years, I've been interacting with a Rainbow Tree Company, which is a research company in Minneapolis that specializes in pest and ornamental and landscape and ornamental plants. And so one could ask, what am I doing here? But they had an interesting project, and they like the facilities that we have. So for the last 6 years, I've used injection of growth regulators, and growth inhibitors and thinners to try to regulate the cropping and growth on apple trees. Now, I think you can imagine if you have a homeowner who has a tree, an apple tree, has scab and has all kinds of other problems, you can't take a sprayer in there, and you can't tell them they can't go in their house for 12 hours because of the re-entry time. So what they've been doing is injecting these things in a plant. So it's been very useful. We've learned a lot, which I could extrapolate to the work with in the orchards. But this is the first year I've done anything with fungicides, and Dan Cooley and I are cooperating on this. And what it is they're injecting fungicides in the ground or spraying them, and then Dan is comparing it with a normal spray. Now, some of the treatments go on in the fall, some in the spring, and they're hoping that the chemistry that they hope that it'll last. And so now, I don't expect that you as growers are going to go out and inject, but if we find out that something that they're doing has some lasting effects, certainly we can use that to our advantage and maybe to your advantage too. So it's a stretch, but I think that we all learn something. And so Dan, do you want to?
How long does it? How much of a deal is it to do their injections, Duane? I wasn't here for the injections, so maybe you could tell us a little about that.
They put I think 8 injections at 250 mils. It took a minute and a half, something like that.
Is there a required spacing for the injections? Like, is it? Are these
they calculate that out from the tree robot from the trunk circumference. And so what you can do is go through and get an average of the orchard, and then just program that and just go up and down the row and inject it
with a syringe.
It's a pump. It pumps right in the ground. Well, it's a big syringe. It's a very big syringe.
It's going into the ground, not into the tree.
In the ground.
Oh, we thought you were going into the tree.
No. They are this one. All of the other things I've done in the tree. This one they do not. They're putting it in the ground.
So it's systemic.
Systemic, yeah.
And there's no concern about contaminating groundwater or anything like that.
Well, I don't.
Endangered species, it might be in the ground.
That's out of my. I'm sure that if they thought there was a danger and a homeowner got a hold of that, that wouldn't be good for their business. So
far, EPA is letting them test it.
Yes.
Well, maybe Meryl Streep will come up with a special soap too.
Maybe.
So it's an interesting approach, and I think that we always learn something from things like this that could always extrapolate into things that we can help you with in your orchard.
We saw a little scab in here. If you guys are anxious to see scab on it's red and white striped trees are the unsprayed checks.
Yeah, that's right. Any questions?
So these flags, yellow flags, is that where they inject it? Or is that
No,
something else?
that's Jaime's work. Jaime's going to talk about that.
And so it's injected down about where the roots are, they figure?
Yeah, right along the trunk. Right along the trunk.
So the 8 injections for one tree? Or
Yeah, 8 injections for one tree. You just walk right around the tree, a minute and a half. Now, again, you're going to inject your whole orchard with something like that.
No, I know.
But I still say that we learned something from this that I think that we can use.
Somebody said it's another job for the robot.
It could very well be.
Do they have any sense, like, of any preliminary data as to how long the protection is? And it's protective, not curative, correct?
Yes, but they wouldn't tell me anything like that. You try to get secrets from a chemical company. Forget it. I wrote something yesterday, and I haven't changed very much. I did look at. I hope all of you use NUA. I think that's very useful. I use that as a guide, but not as a gospel. I think that for the next 2 days, we're supposed to reduce by 30%, and then on Friday 15%. Well, since it's been cool at night, the fruit aren't growing. I'm ignoring that. I'm using whatever you normally would in your orchard. No, I'm not necessarily telling you to ignore it, but those are the reasons why I do. But it does tell you what's coming and give you a pretty good idea. And I guess a good take-home message is get it done the next 5 days. Period. Because this is you experienced 2 weeks of really bad thinning weather. And if you put thinners on, then I'm not so sure how much you got done.
So if you put NAA out a week or 10 days ago, and it was cool.
Yeah.
It's where is it going?
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone. And
It has no chance of helping now.
no. That's
Or
my
hurting,
interpretation.
or hurting now.
Yes. Yeah. So it was so cold. Well, I thought it was worthwhile to get if you only had cold weather throughout the period, getting started is useful. But looking back in retrospect, I don't think it did any good, or very little. And,
But will it help with return blooms?
it could very well be.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, Duane, on the same subject, if you saw flagging, would that indicate that you had an effect?
Well, you got it in.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then,
how much it did is still...
because then it takes heat in order for once it gets in order to get the job done, and that's
But the flagging was pretty mild.
yeah.
Yeah.
It must have gone-
But I only put it on Sunday.
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Yeah, I did mine
Past Sunday.
Saturday.
So it's just
Yeah.
the last couple.
Oh yeah, there was
last day
flagging
until
last. Yeah, I had flagging Monday.
But there's not necessarily a direct correlation between flagging and thinning.